Hello, everyone. So I am thrilled to be on live stream today to share with you guys some thoughts on God, your business, and your purpose. So this is going to be a conversation that is going to be an opener. I don't plan to introduce you to anything you are not already familiar with because my thought processes are not created by Bria, especially when it comes to God. I don't have permission to make up anything. But what I do have permission to do is to shed light and help you to remember what you already know about yourself. So this is going to be a collaborative communication or a conversation between me and you. And the rest of our community, and I'm really excited to have it. So if you've been around for the last couple of days, you know that it has been some smoke happening on this page because I made a post about what I know the nature of God to be and the misrepresentation of God in the church at large, or not even just the black church, but the misrepresentation and who actually is being hurt because of that misrepresentation, and that it is always black women who shoulder the burden and the penalty of misinformation. And when it comes to my community, when it comes to my platform, I'm not gonna let it fly like that, because we may not see the connection between the misunderstanding of who God is and what God is and our money, but it very much so is connected. Because if God, the creator, is the creator of all and the source of all, and we're disconnected from God, there should be no question as to why we will be disconnected from the evidence of being connected to God, which is money, which is being connected to the greatest energetic source that was ever existed, which is God. So if you understand that, then you will get serious about the misrepresentation of God. Because when God is misrepresented in the church, and it is fortified in your belief system that you have to comply to certain thought processes that are unfounded, that are not founded by any Bible, that is not unfounded by any spiritual text, that is not founded by any other thing than fear, then you have to know that a root of fear is operating in your life. And when fear is operating in your life, I want you to think about how you respond. So whenever you're in a space of being challenged and having fear, what does your body do? You go into this autonomic response where your conscious brain is not thinking for you. It is just prehistoric systems that are running because you always feel like you are in danger. And whenever we have these conversations and I see that there are people in our community that feel the need to force their ideals, I recognize that that is because they feel like it's danger. There is danger present, and I want us to recognize it and to see it and to know and to understand that if there is a root of fear, then God does not live in that space. And you have the ability to welcome God into your mind, into your heart, into your body, into your business, so that fear is not running the show. So that's how I operate. That is how I move. So we're just going to have a conversation. We're going to get into it. Let me make sure y'all hang tight real quick. Matter of fact, before I move forward, I would love for everyone that is in this room right now to type in ready to receive, because I believe that when you are in a space like this, you are either in it or you out. So if you are ready to receive, go ahead and type it into the chat. While y'all typing ready to receive, I'm going to make sure to the stream, and then she gonna be calling me. You might not see me again, but that's all right. I just took care of it. So if this is your first time being in a space with me, I just want to introduce myself to you and make you feel at home and make you feel welcomed in this space with us, our biz fam. So my name is Bria Hash. I'm a sales strategist by trade, but I'm also the founder of Black Women Sales Academy. And whenever I show up in your life, I am simply here to help you to connect with humans who have your money. So I have coined behavior-driven sales strategies to really help people who have soul to connect with other humans. So if you've ever been in your business and you felt like when it came time to like make an offer or to sell something, you kind of like left your body and it wasn't even you talking, and you felt embarrassed, or you felt like that wasn't my best, I wasn't really connecting with that person, I wasn't really helping that person, it's because you had not understood the behaviors that will cause that person to buy, or the behaviors at work in you that will help you to sell. And I want you to understand both, because humans have your money. So if you can understand how to interact with humans, it is going to increase the revenue that you have in your business. So that's why I will be in your life. We look to turn human interactions into dollar signs, all right? So turning human interactions into money. So I love each and every one of you who are said ready to receive. Dina, I see you in the room. So if you're a part of our Biz Fam, you've been around for a while, go ahead and put hashtag Biz Fam. Biz Fam, if you're a part of our new fam and you are just now coming because you like, what is going on this page? This woman gonna help me to make money, and this woman gonna help me to get close to God, and this woman is gonna help me to live within my purpose as I do it all. Absolutely, that's what I was created to do, and I'm not shy about that. So if you're a part of our new fam, let's go ahead and get to know one another. Go ahead and put in hashtag new fam in the chat, and also let me know where you are from. We do have a couple of rules of engagement while we are in this space. So the first rule of engagement is bosses don't boss alone. So if there is somebody that you know needs to be in this conversation, if you know somebody is aligned with the things that we're talking about and it will help them with their business, go ahead and tag them and let them know that we are here. The second thing is closed mouths do not get filled in this boulevard. So as I speak, if you have a question, if you have something that you want to add to the conversation, you can do that in the comments. But if you have a question about the Born to Sell Challenge, if you have a question about what we're talking about, please go ahead and put it in the question box so I can pull it up and everybody knows what we are talking about. Can y'all do that for me? I got some new fam from New Orleans. Listen, I love New Orleans. That's my second home. DeChris will tell you if she's in here that New Orleans is my second home. I love me some New Orleans. So mwah, mwah, mwah. To you, Hair Fetish LA. I'm so glad that you are in the room. So for those of you who do not know, the Born to Sell Challenge is opening tomorrow, the community. If you don't know about the Born to Sell Challenge, I'll be talking about it as we're on live stream today. If you have been meaning to get your spot and you have not yet, click the link in bio, click that second button, and get your hind end up in the challenge. What you doing? What are we doing? What are we doing at this point? The community opens tomorrow. The team and I have been working all day to make sure that space is curated for you. So if you're ready to trust what God gave you, have a fully aligned six-figure plus business, then the Born to Sell Challenge is where you need to be to get the structure and strategy so that you can move into that season of your life and in your business. So if you've been in doubt, if you've been in fear, if you've been shaky, and you're ready to be certain that you're moving in the vein that God created you to be so that you can earn through your business, then you need to be in the Born to Sell Challenge. And I truly believe that is the only way. And that's a lot of the reason why I believe I'm being called to talk about purpose right now, because I really do believe that this is a season where we are all being called to step unapologetically into our purpose. I'm going to pin that as a comment. So I'm going to put step unapologetically into your purpose. So step unapologetically into your purpose. I believe that this is the season for that, because here's the deal. I think a lot of us believe or misunderstand what this life is about. And I'm going to slow walk this, okay? I think that a lot of people misunderstand what this life is about. I think that a lot of people misunderstand that they are and have selected to be on this planet for a purpose. And I know this is true because when I work with clients and customers, I have a specific client in my mind right now that we were working together last year. And when we were working together, I took her through the same steps that I take y'all through in the Born to Sell Challenge, helped her to remember her God-given gifts, helped her to uncover her purpose, helped her to see her skills as valuable and marketable, helped her to structure her offer. And then when we got to the end of our work, she said something to me that knocked me off my socks or knocked my socks off, knocked me off my feet. She literally looked at me and was like, oh yeah, like just flippantly. Oh yeah, God told me to do that a long time ago. I knew that. And I literally just sat right there because I was beside myself. What do you mean, you know God told you to do that? And if you know God told you to do that, then what am I here for? I'm confused. I am confusion. Because if you know God told you, let me say this a different way. If you know God revealed to you your purpose while you're here, what you're supposed to be doing, then where are the question marks coming from? Why do we make the calculation in our mind? Because I'm really looking at this client and I'm scared at this point because I'm like, so you're in complete defiance of what God told you to do? For what reason? What are you trading it for? What do you think is going to happen if you look at your life and say, I know why I'm here and I know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm just not going to do it? Now, I'm very, very careful not to perpetuate the conversation about of disobedience to Black women in business, because I know that word carries it has a lot of static in our community. So I don't like to use that word. But the word that comes to my mind is defiance, because that client, and what I've seen replicated across my clients at times, is that perspective that it is better to be palatable, be pleasing, be accepted by what everybody else wants than the entire reason you were born. Let's get this very, very clear. You get one of these. Listen, I'm not going to debate with you about what happens after this. I'm not going to debate with you about, where you're going to be in many, many moons. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is what is certain. The life that you are living currently. You get one of these, and you are absolutely here on an assignment. And to know what your purpose is, have it confirmed to you, reconfirmed to you, have your life pushed and redirected. God pull you into a whole nother stratosphere because you want to go one direction, and then things have to happen so that you're in the direction that was meant for you. Listen, none of that is happening by accident. None of it is haphazard. You are here for a reason and for a purpose. And every single day you wake up in defiance of that. You are saying, I believe that I have time to do whatever the heck I want to do, and yet and still be on the other side and say, I want the benefits of God's grace. I want the benefits of God's abundance. It just does not work like that. It does not work like that. So really what's happening is this calculation in your mind that says, listen, I find, because when I ask, like, why aren't you doing what you know is in your purpose? Well, I don't want people to talk about me, or I don't want my boss to see it, or I know my pastor isn't going to agree with it, or I know my family is going to push back at it. So in your mind, you have made the decision that whatever rejection, whatever challenging, whatever development you have to go through as a person, that you are more interested in avoiding that than accepting the reason you were born. And y'all, I can't mince my words when it comes to this. There is a cost to living your entire life and rejecting the purpose that you were placed here. You are here on an assignment. You are here on an assignment. You are here for a reason. God works in a system of supply and demand. There was a demand for you, your gifts, your talents, your experience, all of your background. So therefore you were supplied. You cannot afford to keep waking up every day and say to yourself, oh God, what is my purpose? When he already told you, when he already confirmed to you, when he already showed you the patterns of your life, when, literally every time you turn around, people are telling you what they think you should be doing. And it is confirmation of what your purpose is. You don't have time to keep waking up and choosing to be defiant of your purpose. Because when you choose to do that, it's literally you saying, I trust the resources that are in my life more than I trust the source. So how can you wake up and say, I trust a job, that a company that was established 20 years ago more than I trust the creator that made all of this and that has lived for eternity? I trust a company that has a market cap of $30 million more than I trust the creator of all money and currency ever created on this planet. I would rather fall into this system or limitation of someone else's belief for my life. My mom's belief for my life, my aunt's belief of what I'm capable of, my church's belief of what I'm capable of, than to recognize that I have a limitless Father and Creator that has opened up infinite potential for me. And the only thing I have to do is to get in alignment with that. Why do we choose the contrary? Why? Why does that make more sense to us? It does not make sense to me. And when I made that post yesterday, I was literally, it was 2:30 in the morning when I wrote that. But if you look at the time, it was like 2:30 in the morning. I literally was woken out of my sleep, and I just literally heard God say, if you know who I am, tell them who I am. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Wait, hold up. Sis didn't ask for all that. I was minding my business. Sleep. Literally woken up. If you know who I am, tell them who I am. And I don't know if y'all got to them last slides where it was like God the healer, God the botanist, God the alchemist, God is all. When I got right there, I didn't realize it when I was typing it, but it was a moment that I had like a couple of months ago, and I was brought to my knees thinking about the nature of God, and that every single job you see on this earth, so whether you see somebody mowing grass, or you see somebody paving cement, or you see somebody making one-of-one art, or you see somebody designing clothing, or you see a classical pianist at a concert, God is. God created all of the connections in our brains and in our bodies that would allow us to do that. So whatever you see, God has already been that. And when I really processed that, and when I really thought about that, it was finally so clear to me, the magnificence of God. Because when you have been raised in the Christian church, and I'm going to say the Black Christian church, the limitations that are placed on God, it baffles me. And I'm going to slow down when it comes to this conversation. It baffles me that God gets delivered and is branded and marketed as this one package, that God comes in this one form. And if anybody interprets it, or if anybody experiences, because it's not about interpretation, because God is, so it's not even open to your interpretation. But if you experience God in a way that is not accepted by others, then you can't speak on that. Like, you can only take what has been laid out and what is socially acceptable. And I finally understood, like, oh, that's why I get it. That's why there will be people who say, this is my guy. Hey, Mia. And this is how God works. And if you experience God in any other way, then this can't be your God either. Like, who told you? Like, what? How does that even make sense? But I recognize where that comes from. And the root of that is fear. You want to know why? Because the closer you get to the nature and understanding of God, the more you have to understand, see, and feel yourself. And when I observe the majority of human beings, let me go to black women. No, I'm just going to stick to the majority of human beings. When I experience and observe the majority of human beings, they can spend time doing everything except spend time with themselves. When given the option to be in silence with themselves, when given the option to spend time with themselves, when given the choice to choose themselves, the reason why there is such a rejection of that, it's because of what reflects right back, which is the fear of this is who I am. This is what I am. But when you get close to God and when you say, God, I don't need anything standing between me and you, right? Whatever I have to know, whatever I have to do, whatever you need me to be, I'm willing to be that so that I understand you. The very next thing that is going to happen is a revelation and reckoning with yourself. Because if God created you, you were created by God. You are God's creation. You are the embodiment of God's consciousness. When God is trying to reveal himself to you, it is going to come through your understanding of self. And when I see people who will rather sit around and watch Netflix all day, people who will rather talk on the phone all day, people rather listen to music all day, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with entertainment. But when there is such a fear around being with one's self because of what comes up when the music turns off, because of what comes up when it's silent, because of what comes up when you're staring at the mirror, that lets me know you also don't want to know God, because you are the embodiment of God's consciousness. And guess what? When you experience God to your human, it may be a little bit, it may shock you a little bit. It may shake you a little bit. Y'all ever felt a little feeling? You be in church or you by yourself or whatever. You be like, wait a minute, hold on. Hold on. That's scary. Let me take this a little bit deeper. I had to reckon with this. So one day I was praying and I was in stillness. I was in meditation. And for the first time, God gifted me with the awareness of feeling the presence of my fear. See, a lot of us don't feel the presence of our fear. We feel the implications of our fear. I'm going to say that again. A lot of us don't feel the awareness of our fear. We just feel the implications. So all of a sudden we're avoiding our purpose. All of a sudden we backing out in our business. All of a sudden we don't want to be in the forefront. We, are rejecting what we were put on this planet to do. And we don't even have a reason why. It's because the fear has taken over our human, taken over our consciousness, taken over our decision making. And the only thing we're left with is the implication. So God gifted me with the awareness of my fear. After I had my daughter, after I'd gone through several experiences, I recognized one day I'm just sitting on my floor, I'm praying, and the air conditioning clicked on. And when the air conditioning clicked on, and I know I'm not by myself, so whatever this may be in your life, I want you to give yourself the opportunity to shine light on it. The air conditioning, come on, it clicked. And when it clicked, like my whole body, like it was almost like the hairs on my body stood up. Like I went on full alert for the air conditioning cutting on, a sound that I hear every single day, literally. And when it happened, I literally said, okay, I get it now. The spirit of fear is at work in my mind and my body. This is maybe a couple years ago. The spirit of fear is at work in my body, but it cannot stay. God has not given me a spirit of fear. So God, I need you to show me where this fear came from. Why is it present in my life? And if it is this present in my life from an air conditioning click, I wonder what else is impacting. Because how can I be afraid of the air conditioning cutting off, the sound from the air conditioning cut off, and then go and be fearless when I sign a multi-million-dollar deal? It's all connected, y'all. How can I be afraid of something that happens multiple times a day and set myself into a frenzy and think that I'm presently in my body? Because when things like that happen in your environment, when you cut on the car, fire back, and you freak out, when, somebody startles you in the house, or you walk around the corner and you're like, whoa, hold on, I didn't know you was right there. When that happens, you leave your body. And think about how many times this happened where you've never returned. You've never returned. You've never felt fully again because you've been in a state of running in fear. And that is what is at work in our churches. That is what is at work in our conditioning, in our family. It's just a bunch of fear and nobody knows why. And even worse, a bunch of fear without the awareness of its presence, so that there's a rejection of information. There's a rejection of immersion. There's a rejection of actually knowing the truth because there's a fear of oneself. So when I asked God, where did this come from? Guess where I was taken? To a place that I never thought I would be taken. God let me experience what it was like for my grandmother, my father's mother, to be laying on the floor after being gunned down by my grandfather and knowing that she had 2 children that were going to live and be raised without her. That stem of fear has been in my bloodline and working in my body for the majority of my life, and I had no awareness of it. But when I asked and I said, God, show me where this is coming from, it was revealed to me. And guess what happened after that? I immediately went into a time and cycle of my business where Black Women Sales Academy was created, where the Born to Sell Challenge was created, and I started to unapologetically and boldly show up as who God created me to be. I didn't care if my family didn't like who I was. I didn't care that I was being talked about. I didn't care that, people would see me as different. Jordan, I haven't seen you in so long. I'm so glad to see you. I didn't care anymore. I didn't care how I would be perceived by other people because I recognized that in that moment when I was gifted with the awareness of where my fear came from, I was gifted with the acknowledgement of the purpose for my life. And that was to rewire my family's relationship with fear and turn it into pleasure. So when I had my daughter, that was the reason why I advocated so much for myself. No, I don't want to be laying on my back when I have my baby. No, I don't want other people to know more about the birthing process than I do. I want to be surrounded by somebody that I trust, my doula, Stakira. I want to be able to walk. I want to be able to move. I want to know every condition that will create a different condition, that will take away my power for autonomy and decision making. My granny, not my grandmother who was murdered by my grandfather, but my granny, who was my mother's mother, had 11 children. And she was left with a breech baby. My uncle, her youngest son, was breached. And when they saw his condition that he was breached, the doctors left her in the room by herself. Y'all see that? I had this desk. I'm putting together a desk. It just came down. But anyways, he was breached. And when he was born, they were in a segregated hospital in our city where it was, it was for Black people. She was left in a room by herself to birth a breached baby. And my granny had 10 children up until that point. This was her 11th and last child. And that left her with a stem of terror. So when I'm going to her and I'm like, Granny, she was still alive when I had Taja. Granny, I'm going to have Taja natural. I'm not going to have any interruptions or any interjections into the process. I'm going to do this in a meditative way. My granny looked at me dead in my face. She meant well, but because she had a certain set of experiences, she looked at me and she said, "You gonna need an epidural." Now I looked at her and I said, "An epidural? Are you serious? I mean, you mean an epidural?" It was funny, but it was also a stem of fear, a stem of terror. So the more and more my life reflected back to me, I was able to see my purpose. It wasn't accidental that I was born on one side of my family to a bishop, into a lineage of priesthood, like my cousin Mia would say. She's in the room right now. That wasn't an accidental thing. It wasn't accidental that on my father's side, I will be born to a father who was devastated by the murdering of his mother, and that she didn't even live past the age of 21 and already had 2 children. None of this was accidental. So when I look at my life, I recognize when it comes to my purpose that I didn't have to make myself anything. I'm going to say it again. I did not have to make myself anything. I just had to trust what God made me. I did not have to make myself anything. I just had to trust what God made me. And the more I've created a relationship of trust with what God has made me, I've stopped needing to compare myself to what anybody else was made like. I stopped finding value in everything that everyone else had while disregarding my own. I stopped looking at everybody else's gifts as precious while I disrespected my own. Because God created me as a response to what will be needed today. God created me as a supply to a demand that will be needed in our community today. God has given me the boldness to speak, to string together words, not for pageantry, not for entertainment, but because it is a need in our community. Understand me when I say that because I have found value in what God created me, I've never had to worry about money another day in my life. I've never had to question where and what was coming next, because I've chosen to embrace what I was created to be and my purpose, and found more value in my purpose than the opinions of persons. I've never had to worry about money or material things another day in my life. This is my way. This is what I choose because I trust God. I trust God, the creator. I trust the systems and the processes that God put in place for our success. So when you see me making intentional, diligent moves in my life and in my business, it is according to that plan, not my own. A lot of people will rather make it up in their way. A lot of people will rather do it that way. I don't have any interest in doing that because I have a purpose to fulfill. And if I'm rewriting the narrative, rewriting the Bible, trying to change a work that's already been worked, I'm out of purpose. I don't have any interest in doing it. Either I'm standing in it, or I'm standing on it, or I'm moving from it. Okay? I have a purpose to achieve in my life. I have sacred text to write on my own. Okay? On my own. That's why I'm here. That's my purpose. I'm going to make sure that I receive it and that I achieve that as well. Okay? So I think it's really interesting when, again, I have people that will acknowledge their life's purpose and say, God already told me to do this or that. You know, I already knew that this is going to be my path. And I just chose that it was better for me to take my own way and do it my own way, or do my own thing, or, you know, spend a couple of years just wandering, than it is to put yourself in the seat of developing what you already know God made you to be. So one of the things I will say I've benefited from my family, from my mother's side of the family, is that I've never had to question my identity. My inheritance that I received from my family, from the last name Hash, was that I never had to question my identity. Did I know how it was going to take shape? No, but I knew my identity. I'm not shocked that I'm a healer. I'm not shocked that I'm a preacher. Oh, not a preacher, a teacher. Ain't that funny? I'm not shocked that I'm an instructor. I knew that that's what I was going to be because I come from a line of preachers. So it was not a question for me. I've never had to worry about if I was in alignment because I received the inheritance of my identity. And whether you have a strong family line that you can look to and say, oh, I know exactly what I got from them or not, I'm telling you that you come from the strongest family line, God the Creator. God already created the template for your success. Okay? God already created the template for your success. Whatever it is that you are, God already is. That goes back, God the healer, God the botanist, God the scientist. Whatever you need is already available to you, but you cannot look to systems that are already more limited than you are. It's called the law of the lid, point blank and period. So when you look at your family, you see everybody in your family of 5, but you believe that you are 8. Can't nobody in your family lead you. You got to go to God the Creator. Create a limitless lid for yourself. Okay? So you can't be shocked while when you're trying to introduce concepts to your family, they reject it because God didn't create you to work within that system. God created you to follow His system. Hear me when I say. And that's why a lot of our businesses are limited because of the law of the lid. You can't outwork your leader. You can't outstride your leadership. All right? So if you look at even your church that you come from, yeah, I'm going to hit it. Man, I'm going to hit it. You look at your church, your family's church, the church you grew up in, the church you go to every week, the membership is not growing. They're mismanaging finances. They have a cap on the revenue that they're bringing in every year. That became your lid. I'm not making this up. I'm not saying that you can't choose to contribute to spaces that you have allegiance to, but don't have so much allegiance to those spaces that you forget who is your leader. Because I'm not about to limit myself based on what somebody else's leadership capabilities are when I passed them before I was 20 years old. When I was making prudent decisions at 20 years old, when they were still out here, got responsibilities but aren't managing them properly. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that because I know what God has called me to is greater than that. So if I know that I have a multi-million-dollar tag on my head, I'm going to need multi-million-dollar leadership over me, standing with me. And a part of this for some of you is recognizing that God is your leader. Listen, if God holds limitless bounty, then baby, that's where I'm going to be aligned. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care how you see me. If at the end of the day, I know that I am consistently offering myself back to God. I'm saying, God, use my gifts, use my mouth, use my skills. Before I come out and I'm saying anything, I'm going to God, is this the right thing for me to do? Edit. Tell me what you want me to say different. If I'm tempering myself, y'all wonder why I don't respond to a lot of comments? Because my energy will let me know if God has given me permission to respond. And guess what? If God has given me permission to respond, ignorance is not coming out of my mouth. Because I'm a reflection of my Father. And my Father will let me know what I'm supposed to be saying in the spaces that I step into. I don't have to be shy. I don't have to be timid. I don't have to shake. I don't have to have fear because I know my relationship with God is that God is an ultimate strategist. So let me be very, very clear. A lot of us struggle in our businesses because we have put a lid on ourselves based on needing to be approved by others that has not been ordained by God for us to stay under. Because it is a limitation. It is not an expansion. It is not a protection. It is a suffocator. And that I said today is that I didn't have to make myself anything. I just had to trust what God had already made me. I had to trust what God had already made me. It was already done. Let me make sure y'all can hear me before I move forward. If you can hear me, type into the chat. Heard, I can hear you. If we all good, let me know before we continue. Okay, great. Sound is back. Child, I put it on Do Not Disturb, and she must have called a couple times. Perfect. All right. So the second point that I made was to find value in your purpose over the approval of people. Find value in your purpose over the approval of people. Y'all, I get that we are human. But when you recognize that you are a spiritual being that has opted into a human experience, I'm going to say it again. You are a spiritual being that has opted into a human experience. When you recognize that your essence is spiritual and you've chosen to have a human experience, the opinions of others will not hold as much weight as they do right now. And I'm telling you right now that it don't matter how you shake it, how you multiply it, or how you divide it. Never should a person's opinion of you, perspective of you, keep you from your purpose. Once again, you get one of these things. You get one of this life experience. And your only assignment is to complete your purpose. That's it. Whatever your purpose may be, that is your only reason for being here. So to get distracted by other humans who should be just as committed to their purpose is ludicrous. It does not make sense. What they think about you should not matter more than what you think about you and what God thinks about you. Because once again, the question becomes, where does your trust lie? And if you do not trust the creator of all, we cannot question why you don't have it. If you do not trust the creator of all, we cannot question why you do not have it. Listen. My choice is clear. Because I'm not willing. Let me tell y'all something. I will change as many times as I have to get in alignment with God. I will reinvent myself as many times as I have to get in alignment with God. I will learn any skill that I have to learn to get into alignment with what God created me to be. I will implement as much discipline as I need to be the reflection that God has called me to reflect. I will do whatever it takes in this lifetime to make sure that I'm in alignment with God, with what God has called me to do and with God has called me to be, than to choose to go through this life and act like I don't know the magnitude of my assignment. It is just not worth it to me to live a life and to choose what everybody else sees for me and to miss what God envisioned me being. There were a lot of decisions that I made in my life that were not favorable in the eyes of other people. Do you know how my mama felt when for months the only thing I told her was, I want to be a doctor. I want to go get my doctorate, yada, yada, yada. I took every GRE prep test under the side of the sun. I took out loans to go through the prep class. I took the test, got into the doctoral program. And the moment I get accepted into it, I look at my mama and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this. Y'all, my mama was hot. First of all, she already envisioned herself saying that her daughter was a doctor. She was already planning my degree ain't even in my own office. The one that I have in psychology is in her house. Those degrees are hers. Okay? She was already planning her victory lap. It was not a favorable decision for me to say, your idea of me is not more important than God's idea of me. When I went from being a scholar, a known research professor, listen, my entire life or my entire college career, I should say, I was in research. I worked at one of the nation's largest research centers, Social Science Research Center in Norfolk, Virginia. I've been on some of the largest publications, Life in Hampton Roads. I worked in industrial psychology labs and, social psychology labs at my university. Listen to me. I mean, sign, seal, deliver. I could have gone to any school that I wanted to go to. So it wasn't a favorable decision when I decided that I was going to all of a sudden go sell insurance. And it didn't make sense to my mama. It didn't make sense to my family. This smart girl, this girl right here, she going to do what? Oh man, she about to mess it up. Here she go. She about to mess it up. But no, I knew that was not my life. I wanted it at a point in time, but I knew it wasn't my life. And once again, I have been at every juncture in my life willing to relinquish and to give up anybody else's perception of me more than I was willing to allow God's purpose for me to slip through my fingers. So I knew I had to make a living. So I end up at a Fortune 500 company owned by Warren Buffett, learning sales. And I didn't think that I would be at that position for very long, and neither did they. Because when they got my resume and they looking at all my research papers and the books and all that kind of stuff, they're like, who is this girl? Why is she here? The hiring manager looked at me and was like, are you sure? Like, we only take the very best, but it don't seem like you're supposed to be here. Because even at the company, they took the very best. You ain't supposed to be here. And I said, I'll give it a year. Went there and changed my whole life. I would not be a sales strategist right now if I had not said I wasn't going to be a doctor. At most, I may have made $200 to $300 an hour, maybe. Would y'all like to get into what we make now? Like what? Thousands of dollars an hour. Thousands of dollars an hour. Not hundreds, not tens. Thousands. Because I was willing to release what other people felt like was my portion to grab onto what was actually meant for me. What was actually designed for me. And it caused me to have to reinvent myself. It caused me to accept my true identity. It caused me to go through some seasons that looked a little off to other people. I did not care. Because I knew that what I was aiming for was my purpose. I knew that what I was aiming for was something that the space that I was in could not give me. So I had to reconfigure and recalibrate. I knew I didn't want to be the challenge to the environment. I knew I didn't want my afro to be the challenge to their environment, to be the conversation of the day. I wasn't going to be their shade room. All right. I was not interested in doing that. So I had to value my purpose over the opinions of people. And that included my family. That included people that I respected. That included people's opinions that that held weight in my life. Cousins who were already doctors. Cousins who already received success. People in my life that I would have done anything to impress. And when I live the life that I live now, they still don't understand. It don't matter how successful or valued I am in some communities. There are some people in my life that will never see it for me because they don't understand me. They don't understand my decisions, and I don't need them to. I don't need them to because I've chosen my purpose. And because I've chosen my purpose, I know that I've made the right decision for my family line. What they say, you may not come from it, but it comes from you. A whole rewiring, a freedom of choice, of options, of connection. Honey, I'm not depending on not a nan soul to teach my seed how to be connected to God. She's not getting shipped off to no daycare. No disrespect to those who have their children in daycare or school or wherever. But there's no way I'm going to leave the yielding of my child to someone else. It is my portion that I be able to nurture my child every day. That when we get up, she can start taking her time and she can start to enjoy. My baby told me the other day, let me tell you, she said, Mommy, I'm a little bit nervous. She's 3. She knows her emotional will. She, instead of her throwing a tantrum, she gonna tell me like, where am I at on the emotional wheel? That's how in tune that child is. All right. She said, Mommy, I'm a little bit nervous. She was like really antsy, like low key about to act up. And I'm like, what's up? Why are you nervous? And she go, because I don't want you to eat my French fries. She was so scared that I was fitting to tear them French fries up. But instead of her freaking out and instead of her staying in anxiety, I was able to say, oh, don't worry about that. I'm not gonna eat your French fries. And she went on about her day. But to me, that was a reflection of like, all right, she gonna be all right. Even the other day, we had a sleepover and I let her stay in my bed. I don't know why I did that because she was on 1,000. Listen, the child is out of control when it comes to staying up late if you let her. She has a very regimented. She stays up for a second after that. She gonna be up to 2 o'clock in the morning. I lie to you not. So I said, hey, Stinky. Like just being cute, being, just fun and just playing with her. She looked at me and she said, not Stinky, just Taja. Don't call me Stinky. It's Taja. And I said, you know what? This child gonna be all right. That's what I'm doing this for. Because when I see her, it's a reflection of me. She's an improvement on the design. She is an improvement on the design. So as confident, as sure, as decisive, as clear, as communicative as I am, she is that times 1,000. She gets me some days. She said, not Stinky. Like, don't play in my face. I don't care how cute you say it. It's disrespectful. I ain't recognize it till she said it back to me. She said, not Stinky. It's Tasha. I said, well, yes, ma'am. And, even the day before that, walk up to her. I want a hug. And she said, And she sat down and she ate her lunch. And I looked at her. I said, I understand. The boundaries is on lock. I say hashtag Bria with the boundaries, honey. Hashtag Tasha with the boundaries. But that is not haphazard. That is not happening by accident. The child has been nurtured. The child has been taken care of. She's had it exemplified in front of her. So therefore, she can also do it. And a lot of our children miss that because we are in rejection of our purpose. When our purpose has been right in front of us. And it's now our children's time to become clear about our purpose. And we hold grown adults and are acting like we don't know what we're supposed to be doing. Oh, y'all didn't think I was coming back to you. You thought it was just a cute little moment. You already know what you're supposed to be doing. You've just had a stem of fear that has kept you from doing what you've been called to do. You're supposed to be in a development phase right now, not the seeking phase. It's time to grow up. It's time to mature. Our children need some space to grow. And I'm not saying that you don't have to reparent yourself and that you shouldn't be caring for yourself, but what we're not going to do is continue to operate in delusion or to continue to act like we don't need help in areas of specific outcome. If you know you need help with getting your business in alignment with your purpose, if you know you need to be in an environment that's created to help you to get on the other side so that you can begin earning instead of acting like you don't know how to or what to do, you need to be in the Born to Sell Challenge. Listen, if you're serious about it, you'll be in that challenge when we start tomorrow. You click the link in the bio, click that second button. Because it's really, honestly, like, and I'm not saying that because I'm trying to tell you you don't deserve to give yourself energy. You absolutely do, but your energy should not be on the beginning questioning part anymore. You are a mature adult. So therefore, it's time to accept so that you can then get to the point and say, God, how do you need to equip me? What do I need to train doing? What do I need to develop doing? I know this is it. I'm not going to avoid it anymore. I'm just going to get in the spaces. I'm going to get in the space for, okay, how to join? So the Born to Sell Challenge is available at the second link in bio. So you click my link in bio, you go to that second button, you will see the Born to Sell Challenge. The Born to Sell Challenge is running from tomorrow to July 10th. It is a 6-week offer accelerator where we structure your business strategically so that you can get to your next 6 figures in revenue in your business in a fully aligned way by taking exactly what God created you to be and making sure that your gifts, your experiences, your skill sets are fully incorporated into your business so that the business that you have, is a reflection of God's gift and grace for your life. Point blank, period. I think that that's the way it's supposed to be. I don't care what your skill set is. I don't care if you sew clothes. I don't care if you fix cars. I don't care if you blow balloons for a living. Trust me when I say you should be fully in alignment with God's purpose for your life. And there are opportunities with that, with your positioning, with your messaging, with your pricing, with your benefits, with your features. When you come out of the Born to Sell Challenge, you're going to be sure what you're focusing on in your business. You're going to be in complete trust. You will not be comparing yourself to anybody else. You will not be wondering, like, is what I am valuable? No. The 4 moves that we take in that space is designed to take you 1, 2, 3, 4 to the end. And you will have an offer that is so solid that it will be ready and good to sell. So you don't have to know what direction to take. You just need to come into the space, because the first move that we take is to reveal and remember your God-given gifts and talents. And when you reveal and remember your God-given gifts and talents, what actually happens is you are able to see yourself in a full integrated way so that you're not trying to pick different distortions and different versions of yourself, but you're looking at a holistic human. The process that we take and the Born to Sell Challenge is so beautiful. It's going to be healing to your inner child. It is going to be healing to your adult self. If you are a mother, it's going to be healing to you. If you are a sister, it's going to be healing to you. It don't matter what your role is. If it's just you to you, it's going to be healing to you. And in the process, it will also allow you to bring down some of that anxiety about business. So if you are a person that has just been in the space where you've been trying to figure it out, being in the space actually helps you to stop seeking and to start being, okay? To start being in the space. So when you are being in the space, when you're fully present, you can actually receive. You can receive the direction. But when you're trying to figure out where you're going, what you're doing, you're spending a lot of energy on that. And I find solace in knowing that you can come into the space and just know that you're taken care of. So we provide world-class service inside of the Born to Sell Challenge, because so many of us are in spaces where we have to create the environment. We always have to make sure that it's perfect for everybody else to experience instead of us just being catered to. And you will see from the very moment you enter into that challenge, every single thing has been thought of. And we did that on purpose. We did that on purpose for you, because we're always trying to think 15 steps ahead for other people and for ourselves. And we wanted to create that environment for us. So it goes beyond just being a space of safety. It goes to being a space that was curated and created to respond to the needs of Black women in business so that we can kind of offload some of the compulsions that are in our nervous systems and just be. And you will start to recognize once you've gotten to about 3 weeks of the challenge that you are inclined to a new being, into a new person that is not rushing, that is taking time for yourself, that knows that everything is working in your favor, that acts like everything is working in your favor, that knows the direction that you're in. That certainty shows up way before week 6. But after week 6, you will absolutely have your offer. So 95.9% of our Born to Sell Challenge members leave certain about their offers and ready to sell it. And that's what a lot of us need. So we try to cover up like a shaky business with like social media strategies. We like try to make that the thing where it's like, oh, I need to know my content plan. It's like, you don't know your content plan because you don't know your offer. You don't know your business structure. You don't know your highest salon client. You don't know your market positioning. If you knew those things, the social media stuff is easy. It's a piece of cake. But you got to know why you're doing the what. You have to know why you're doing the what. And a lot of us do the what without knowing the why. And whenever you come into an environment with me, I look to make you a strategist. I like to help you to understand the why and the functions of business because I know that is what is essential so that you can operate independently of me. I don't want you dependent upon me to make money because that means that I always got to be here to help. And I'm not interested in that. I want you to make money whether I'm online or whether I'm not, whether I'm talking to you, whether I'm not. I want you to be able to make money. So Phoenix 701, please let me know your name in the chat, but I would love to see you on the other side of the Born to Sell Challenge. So for those of you that are wanting to join us, again, the community opens tomorrow. We're open with a beautiful welcome week that will get you acclimated to the space as we jump into our first training on Saturday. There is a space cap on this community. So if you want to be a part of it, please make sure you take action and get into the space. For those of you who need it, there is Klarna Pay available, or Klarna available, Apple Pay available, PayPal Credit available. So if you need some accessibility options, those are going to be available to you at that second button. You will see that there. PayPal credit is on the first button. But we look to make it accessible for you anyway. So if this is your first time going to the page, you'll see the opportunity to join for 2 payments of $222. And that's just our way to make sure that we are not keeping you out of the room. Okay, so we got Vanna and we got Cassandra in the room. And Cassandra, if your name is pronounced, it depends on if you from the north or the south, if it's Cassandra or Cassandra, because y'all know how we do. We like I don't even know how to say it sometimes because I'm like, it just depends on the location. It really does. So let me know if it's Cassandra like sand, or if it's like Cassandra. I'm trying to figure out how you can put like it in the chat, like so I know. But absolutely. So make sure you click the link in bio, go to that second button, and get your spot. We are starting tomorrow. The community opens tomorrow. Cassandra. Okay. All right. You my girl. I love it. I love it. I got it. So you click the link there. Are there any questions about the Born to Sell Challenge? So we go through 6 weeks in that experience. We go through 4 moves in that experience. Remember your God-given gifts, where we are focused on brand differentiation, establishing your marketplace value, where we focus on brand positioning, which is very, very important. And understanding your value and what it means in the hands of your clients and customers so you have the right price point. Then we go into offer creation, which is where you are determining like the benefits, the features, what you have inside of your offers and your programs, and what is like the bells, the whistles of your offer. So a lot of us really miss the mark on that, and then we question why people aren't buying. So you can be the best baker, best lasher, the best stylist, the best grass or lawnmower. You can be the best at all of those different things, but it does not matter if your offer is not reflective of the best. If you're not speaking to the desires, the needs, the aspirations of your highest salon client, none of that matters. It does not matter. And I do not like for the people who are the best at what they do to be the best kept secret, or the people who are the best at what they do to not do well in business. That's where y'all be putting a battery in my back where I like to show up for y'all. I love that. I love it. I'm glad that you were here with us today. I'm so glad. And then the final move that we take is offer challenging. So this is a part that is the whole experience is my give to our community, right? But when I get to step into your business and I get to become your business strategist, it makes me glad. So typically when people come to like challenges like this, it's like this group container and the leader, may know your name. They may not know your name. You're just one of a number. That's not something that I wanted for our challenges, which is why they are priced the way they are, so that I can become your business strategist for a day. So after leading you through the instruction, after coaching you every week for the time that you're in the Born to Sell Challenge, you then go into creating your offer. And before we leave, you get a live offer audit from me. Every single person that comes into the Born to Sell Challenge at this level is going to get a live offer audit from me. And what I'm going to be looking for is, did you hit the mark? Are you saying what you're trying to say? If when you put your offer in the market, is it sound? Is it stable? Is it going to sell? Are there holes in your pricing or your tiers or whatever you put inside your offer? Because everybody's business is different. And when you put your offer in the market, will it stand or will it sink? I'm going to tell you straight up, it's going to be in a live offer audit. We all grow and we all build together. But what this does, it makes sure that your offer is challenged at the cutting room floor versus in the marketplace. Because I always say this, the marketplace is black or white. It either sells or it doesn't. And the marketplace can be deafening. So when you don't have the right offer, the market will let you know that by not buying. And the unfortunate thing about that is you don't know what you did right or wrong. But it's my job to know that. It's my job to make sure that the offers you have are curated to sell. I've been doing this for many years with many business owners. And it's my job to help you to find the gaps and to make sure that everything is aligned so that your offer will sell. So that's the way we end the challenge. And that's why when people leave, they are so sure about their offer because they did the work they needed to do. And then they had that refinement happen in that space. So when you leave the experience, you are not going to be out here questioning what to do. You're going to know. And you're going to be able to move on to the next step. Like, I get tired of our business owners spending money in containers. I mean, literal thousands and thousands of dollars in containers and still not get what they came for. I don't like that. I specifically don't like it for Black women in business because when we trust. And there are a lot of spaces that take advantage of us and don't give us what we pay for. And it costs something to us. There are people who make sacrifices to be in spaces. There are people who, take their hard-earned money to be in space. I don't like that. Okay? So whenever I have spaces, I look to make sure that we, above all, are served. And we, above all, get what we need. And what I recognize is that the problem with some containers is that you'll go into the container and you think like, oh, I'm better because the information felt good. The information is nothing without activation. The information is nothing without activation. And I can't run your business for you. So either you become a better business owner in the process of engaging with me, or I failed you. Because I can't run your business. I got to run mine. So if we going to do it, we got to do it together, okay? We got to do it together. We got to see your strengths. We got to see your weaknesses. We got to see where you're proficient. We got to see where you're deficient. We got to see where you need support. We got to see it together. And a lot of people skip this part because they just want to be granted passage by listening. Business is an active sport. There are no participation points in business. You know if you winning or you losing by your report card. And your report card is your bank account. And your report card is your balance sheet. And if your report card is reflecting back on you negatively, something in your brain has to go, oh, I'm missing something. Don't just keep going. Don't just keep telling yourself you can wait. Or don't keep telling yourself you're going to figure it out eventually. Because it doesn't need to work like that. And most of the time it doesn't work like that. Business is very, very simple. Input, output. If what you're putting in is good, good things come out. If what you're putting in is bad, bad things come out. Simple. Y'all know I like to talk about the existential stuff. I like to talk about quantum physics. I like to talk about God and God's consciousness. And everything seems so complicated. But this business thing is so black and white. If you don't have the revenue that you believe your business can bring in, and when you out here, you busting your butt, you making reels, you making content, you loading up threads, you sending email, you trying to make, get on podcasts, you're trying to sign, you're trying to do everything, right? And that's not returning in revenue. You need to be in the Born and Sell Challenge. You need to be in the Born and Sell Challenge, because my only job in your life right now is to get you in alignment with God's system of success. That's it. Structure your business, get you the strategy to be in alignment with God's system of success. Because when you're in that flow, everything else becomes easy. And in the process, teach you how to be a strong, structured business owner. Hey, Coach D. Y'all, we done. We getting started tomorrow. Tomorrow, the community opens. Click the link in bio. Second button. Don't do anything else. Go get your spot. Don't let nobody else take your spot. Go get it now, okay? This is going to be a really, really exciting week. So after tomorrow, when the community opens, we're going to make sure everybody in the room, everybody doing their welcomes. We all sitting back. On Tuesday, we have orientation so that you are primed and understand what the experience is all about. Everybody's going to receive their curriculum guides, going to be able to add all the events to your calendar. Then Friday, we're having our pajama kiki where we get to know one another. I'm so glad that you did as well. We're having our pajama kiki on Friday because this is an intimate transit. This is an intimate experience, and I like to know you. So we're going to hang out before we get started. No business involved. We just going to talk. We're going to chat. Everybody's going to have an opportunity to talk and chat. We're going to get to know one another, and then Saturday is our first lesson. And we start on Saturday with a lesson called the Cubicle Divorce. It sounds just the way it is. We breaking every box. Honey, the Cubicle Divorce, that lesson right there is the first lesson for a reason. And when I tell you it is a monster, it is a monster. The challenge goes from June 5th, which is tomorrow, until July 10th. The lesson on Saturday starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So all the Saturday lessons start at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Our coaching sessions are on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, we got coaching. I'm coaching you as well. Listen, we walking through this thing together. So we don't have coaching this Tuesday because this is our welcome week. So a lot of people, we just going immediately in. We just, going hard. And the reason why we don't do that and we ease in with a welcome week is so, again, you can learn that everything happens in its proper timing, that you don't have to rush to be successful, that you don't have to be in panic to receive the benefits of your life and your work. That's not how I run my life. At any time I'm rushing, I'm out of alignment. Anytime I'm rushing, I'm out of alignment. I don't rush. When I get ready, I like to slow get ready. I like to turn my music on. I like to take my time. I like to walk and have my tea. Like, anytime I'm rushing, I'm out of alignment, and I'm not for it, okay? Let me see. I'm trying to, y'all know I've been in this office, and I've been putting up things, and they done delivered the daggone desk that lift up. You can stand up at it. Child, why I got this desk and I got to put it together? What's going on? But anyway, yeah, I don't believe in that. So when I curate my programs, and let me slow down real quick. When I curate my programs, I create them the same way because I recognize that the lived experience of Black women is that we need spaces of rest. We need spaces of rest. We need spaces of relief. So if that's what I stand for, then how in the world am I going to then put you in another environment where I'm telling you it's supposed to be healing, but then I'm rushing you? That doesn't work like that. But let me tell you what does work. When you are creating from a space of safety, beautiful things happen. So a lot of us only know creating from our trauma. We only know creating from panic. We only know creating from deficit. And that's why a lot of the things that we have in our business have so many limitations on them, because if you created something because you only had 99 cents in your own bank account, then everything that you created is going to take you right back to the 99 cents in your bank account. So when you create from a space of safety, when you're offering yourself the space of safety so that you can create in your abundance, and you opt into an environment designed to do that, guess what happens? It's up from there. It's up from there. And this is different for a lot of us, because some of us are only motivated when we in a traumatic situation. Some of us are only motivated when we got stressed. Some of us believe that we work best under pressure. Get that out of here. What do you mean you work best under pressure? Do you? Or are those the conditions that you require and that you've asked God for so that you can produce, not knowing that you have other options? Because if you say, I work best under pressure, then what that means is that you've just invited a set of pressurized situations that you're out of control of to enter your life in order for you to be productive. How about this? I work within my flow. I work within my flow. I know that when I honor my energy, good things happen for me. I recognize that everything is happening in perfect timing. There is no lack in my life, only abundance. I trust God, the source, to provide everything that I need, including energy, for me to do my best for my community. And when I do the best that I can for my community, nothing comes from that but good. Hello? We're rewiring the way that we interact with our lives and our businesses because it's necessary. It's necessary. It's necessary. And that is the juncture that we're at as a community. I have so much to say, but I've been on here for a long time now. Are there any final questions about the Born and Sold Challenge? So here's the deal. This is where we're at in our day. I don't want anybody who is here who is truly considering coming to the challenge not to come because you didn't ask the question you needed to ask. So right now, I want you to search your mind. Is there anything keeping me from joining this challenge? Or am I ready to join the challenge as soon as this live stream ends? So if there is anything keeping you from joining the challenge, I want you to speak up now in the box and ask your question so that you can get an honest and truthful answer to it so that you can make the right decision and trust that that decision is right for you. So this is a thing that I want y'all to learn about your customers and your clients. You don't get to choose for your customers and your clients what they say yes to. The only thing you get to do is to provide the environment with which or in which it's safe for them to act on their decisions. Informed customers buy, confused customers do nothing. So whenever you get the opportunity to help your people to make the decision, yay or nay, you have done them the greatest service that you could offer. And that's what a lot of this is. Because a lot of you, decision is already made. Decision was made in seconds, not minutes and not hours. I don't care if you just met me 10 minutes ago. You already made your decision. I'm going to get something from her. She going to help me with something to do with sales. She going to help me to generate some kind of revenue. She going to help me in some way to get closer to God. And by result of that, I'm going to find some money inside of my business. Something can already happen. You already made that decision. But it's just, do you have enough information to get out of the way of your access to your transformation? That's the question. So if you have a question, you should be asking it in the box. Otherwise, you should actually be going and securing your spot in the challenge. And it's just as simple as that, because we start tomorrow. So if you know you're supposed to be in the space, I invite you to join us. A lot of the questions I get, like when I get off a live stream, is like, well, can I join if I'm in this industry or that industry, or if I sell services or if I sell products? The answer is yes. So our environment is designed for a multitude of industries. because the offer production process is you executing the information you've received. And when I look at your business and your offer, I am looking at it from the lens of a individualized business strategist. So the only time you would have to fit into a certain category in a space is if if the space was not custom made for you. But every single person who comes into Born to Sell Challenge, once you get the information and you act on that information, the feedback that you get is going to be custom. That's why there are space limitations in the room. So you trust the process, you come into the process, you navigate the 4 moves, you get the information. That's where you see what kind of offer creator am I? How aligned am I with what God created me to be? How in tune am I with my high salon clients? Where are my gaps? That's what we're looking for once we get to your offer. So those are the questions I get. Another question I get is like, if I'm just starting, can I come to the Born to Sell Challenge? If I'm just starting my coaching practice, if I, just coming into my industry, if I'm rebranding my business after some time, I took a break from social media, can I come? The answer is yes, yes, yes. The answer is yes, yes, yes. You absolutely can be in that space, and I invite you to be in that space. So, for everyone who is coming in, I welcome you to be there. For those of you that are just coming into the room, we're wrapping up the stream now. This is one of the live streams I am going to press the ability for it to save on Instagram. So if you want to watch it from the beginning, you can. I thank you guys so much for your time. I hope that everyone enjoys the rest of your Sunday. Until next time, love y'all, mean it. Peace.